what I love about TedXDetroit is the fact that we bring speakers here that either live here, live in Detroit, they're from Detroit, or they work in Detroit.
That's the requirement.
That is the requirement to be a part of TedXDetroit. And of course, it's all about ideas worth spreading, right? And so people who come back to the city to give their ideas and their thoughts on how to make this city better.
That's Shawn Lee from TedXDetroit. He's the director of photography for the event, is a local area creative, owns Shawn Lee Studios, and he's our guest today. TedXDetroit is the local version of the world-famous TED Conference, where speakers spread ideas in short, powerful talks. The event, in its 11th year, is November 6th at the Masonic Temple. Shawn and my colleague Sven Gustafson talk about the gathering of those looking for inspiration and luminaries from various walks of life and how it impacts Detroit. I'm Jer Stays, and this is your Daily Detroit for Wednesday, October 9th, 2019. And that conversation is right after this. Daily Detroit is brought to you in part by Repurpose. That's where you can get hired by Detroit's best startups and companies. Repurpose connects top talent like you, yes you, with purpose-driven companies based on values, experience, and culture fit. Join their talent community at repurpose.co. That's repurpose.co.
TedXDetroit lands for the 11th year next month at the Masonic Theater, and joining us to talk all about it is Shawn Lee. He's the director of photography for the event, and he's also the unofficial hype man who gets up there and crosses his arms in the signature X move, right?
That's right.
Shawn Lee, welcome to Daily Detroit.
Man, thank you so much for having me.
Good to see you again. Yeah. So this year's TEDx is November 6th. You're back at the Masonic Temple. Is it the second year?
This is the second year at the Masonic Temple. Absolutely.
Excellent. So that's a good venue for you guys.
It's a great venue. A great history there. I'm gonna tell you,
beautiful building. Yeah.
Beautiful building. I'm telling you, they are still finding rooms in that place, right? They are still finding freaking rooms in the Masonic Temple, but it's a very, very, very cool building. And so wear your gym shoes that day because you will be walking a lot of steps.
All right, sounds good. All right, so what's new the 11th year? I think you're still kind of putting together plans and lining up some speakers to a certain extent, right?
Oh yeah, but this is an amazing show. I think it gets better and better every year, right? And what I love about TedXDetroit is the fact that we bring speakers here that either live here, live in Detroit, they're from Detroit, or they work in Detroit.
That's the requirement.
That is the requirement to be a part of TedXDetroit. And of course, it's all about ideas worth spreading, right? And so people who come back to the city to give their ideas and their thoughts on how to make the city better. And so when you talk about technology, entertainment, and design, right? Detroit, when you have all of those elements that come together and just clash for some great stuff, it is an amazing environment, right? And this year will be no different. It'll be absolutely stunning.
Yeah, absolutely. So looking over the list of presenters here, and probably the ones that people are going to know the most, like the big names that are going to be most familiar. Nicole Curtis, of course.
Nicole Curtis of Rehab, Addict, right?
The HGTV show.
Yeah, HGTV show, the self-taught rehab artist who goes in and gets old historic homes and restores them. And so she's coming and she will be speaking and hitting the stage at TedXDetroit. Very, very cool. I don't know if a lot of people know that she is actually from the Detroit area. So that's a very cool person to have. We got people like Luis Resto from Eminem and 8 Mile fame, the great song Lose Yourself, right? Who was a producer on that song. And so people like I think Hodge Flemings is going to be speaking this year, who is a native Detroiter and founder of Rebrand Cities, which is a cool project where they are putting 10,000 small businesses on the grid around the globe, right? Partnered with WordPress.com. So we got some amazing speakers this year.
Yeah,
good stuff.
Former Lieutenant Governor Brian Calley, who now heads up the the Small Business Association of Michigan, right?
Yep. Small Business Association of Michigan. We have people like Naja Bazi, who is a CNN hero, who makes sure that the homeless and stuff get fed, and that there are women and children that have everything that they need in order to survive. It's just, so we got a great lineup of people who are not only trailblazers in the tech and innovative space business world, but also people who give back to society and community. It's amazing.
Excellent. Talk about some. You guys are always changing up the formula and looking to, introduce new things. So, what's new for this year's thing? You were talking about something about visual storytelling in real time. What's that all about?
Yeah. So I am director of photography, and so what we did with this year is we have a massive photography team, and so it is our job to capture visually the story of TEDx Detroit. And as you know, there are 4,000 people that are going to be hitting the Masonic Temple. There'll be stuff like food trucks for lunch. There'll be TEDx Labs, which is our kind of event space where people set up all of their wares. And not only that, a lot of technological experiments and stuff like that take place down there. We storytell all of that. We have X stations that are set up where people take photographs with the big X. We'll be uploading those in real time. We got drone pilots that will be now flying drones. Of course, very safely, right, and capturing it from that angle. We have video people who are part of the team that will tell the story of TEDx in real time that I think will help get the word out and even help with some relatability to community.
So you'll almost be able to stream this in real time, or how exactly, or follow it along in social media?
So I think that might be 2.0, but we will be uploading a lot of visuals in real time. I wouldn't say streaming in real time. And to be honest with you, I don't know if that fits the TED license that we have, or if we're even able to do that. But we will be taking a lot of stills, a lot of video clips, and we'll be uploading those in kind of real time as they happen.
TED has the ideas worth spreading is the official slogan. All the TEDx events, I think, are a little bit different than the. I think they're maybe not quite official TED events or something like that. Is that right?
So they are official TED events, but the X stands for the individual event or the individual city, right? And so, of course, there's main TED, and then we are TEDx Detroit, and we have the biggest license in Michigan, so we're allowed to have an unlimited number of people in the Detroit area at a TED event. So we are an official TED licensed event.
Yeah. So, I mean, what I'm getting at though is in a city like Detroit, what's the goal of TEDx Detroit? I mean, it's ideas worth spreading, obviously, but we talked about it earlier that TED has a pretty strong brand among people who are tech savvy, are active on social media and everything, but that doesn't necessarily always describe Detroit, right? Where there's sort of low internet adoption and so forth. So, I mean,
that's true. I think that's a true statement. I don't think it translates to everybody. I think people who know TED know that there's a TEDx Detroit, but I think our challenge is getting the greatness of what we provide as far as service to the community to everybody, right, as far as TEDx is concerned. And so I think that we have a job to do. For those that know TED, love TED, right, and love TEDx Detroit. I think we have a responsibility now to even to those that don't have internet or those that we might not be relevant to, we need to become relevant to. And maybe that's doing some more ground stuff. I think one of the things that I'm really proud of that we do is that we have somewhere around 1,000 high school students that we allow to come to TEDx Detroit for free, right? That's our investment back into community and to society, back into the next generation of professionals that are coming up in the Detroit area. I think there's probably more that we can even do. And I think as we grow, we're attacking that stuff, right? Getting into the neighborhoods and having speakers that relate to people in the neighborhoods are things that I think we are doing pretty well, and we need to keep going and pushing.
Right, because and also technology is only one part of the stool, right? I mean, you're talking. I mean, these people are talking about a lot of real world solutions or lessons they've learned, right? It's not like how to code for your first startup, $1 million startup or whatever.
Right, absolutely. So technology, entertainment, design. I think what's beautiful about that is that you have real world people that are solving real world problems that come from real world places, right, that have accomplished something in life and then bring it back. And it's relatable, I think, to everybody, to the smartest, and excuse my language if this is offensive, but to the smartest nerd, right? Being a nerd is sexy anyway, right?
Of course.
To the smartest nerd out there, to the person who is probably the dopest musician that you can find. When those worlds collide, you can teach limitless people, right? When you can inspire somebody with music and then turn around and give them a formula that'll turn their neighborhood around or turn their business around, man, that's some amazing stuff. And to have all of those things, designers, educators, entertainers, right? Technology people, when you have all of them come together with the common goal of making society better, oh my God, sky's the limit.
Yeah. All right. So speaking of which, will there be musical entertainment at this year's TEDx?
There will be musical entertainment. There is one young lady named Bobby who has done entertainment with people like 2 Chainz, right? And she'll be there, and we'll have singers. There'll be bands and stuff playing. No different from any other TEDx Detroit, where we have some hot bands coming to the table to do some stuff. I know a couple of years ago we had some guys that was actually singing and flipping and beating drums on the stage, right? Some of the hottest stuff on earth. And then I think right after that, we had a lady come breathe fire who was a scientist. And then we had a lady come beat smoke out of a drum. It was crazy. It's crazy. I mean, like, really, we had an opera singer one year. It was like a hip hop opera singing thing. Like, you gotta come to TED. This is like the hottest, this is like one of the hottest conferences in Detroit for an $85 price point, right? It is where you come and get everything. It is all day ideas. By the time you leave, you are worn out with ideas, and then you're ready to hit the ground running the very next day.
Yep. So I should paint the picture for those of you who are listening to this and not watching, but you're looking very official, man. You got your TEDx Detroit ball cap on.
Yes.
Your TEDx Detroit hoodie with your shirt and tie underneath it. Are you wearing this every day now?
I wear this every day. I wear this off season when nobody's talking about TEDx Detroit after the conference is over. I love my TEDx Detroit gear. It always ensues a conversation, right? Everybody's always asking me about my gear. And I'm happy to really talk about it, right? Because I'm proud of what we're doing and what we've done in the past, right? It's some of the hottest stuff on the planet, man. They're not ready for it.
Yep.
Rock that.
TEDx Detroit returns again for the 11th year. It's November 6th. That's a Wednesday at the Masonic Theater. We will put a link to the website where you can buy tickets and get all kinds of information on dailydetroit.com. Shawn Lee is the photography director for TEDx Detroit. Thanks so much for coming by, Shawn.
Man,
good to see you again.
Thank you so much for having me. You guys have an unbelievable day, man.
All right, Sven, thanks for that conversation. And thanks to you for listening to Your Daily Detroit. If you think this is a podcast worth spreading, well, be sure to tell somebody about it. We very much appreciate it. I'm Jer Stays. Take care of each other. We can't wait to talk to you tomorrow.